Your PS5 has been sitting there for months collecting dust while you scroll a menu, and honestly, that's your fault. 18 games, all single player. No microtransactions, no battle pass, no 12-year-old screaming at you, just endings. Some of these will genuinely rake you. Number 1 isn't even close. Number 18. Sifu. Okay, let's get this out of the way early. You are going to lose a lot. Sifu is a kung fu revenge game. Bad guys killed your dad, you want payback. Simple. But here's the twist that makes it special. And also kind of mean. Every time you die, you get back up older. Die once, you're 21, keep dying and suddenly you're 40, then 60. Then you're in your 70s and that's it. Run over, start again, and here's the part I actually love. Getting older isn't all bad. Old you hits harder. Old you just has a glass jaw. So the whole game is asking one question. How much punishment can you take before your knees give out? Laughs. Which is honestly the most realistic thing about martial arts I've ever seen in a video game. There are only 5 levels. 5. That sounds tiny until you realize you'll play each one about 50 times. Learning every punch, every dodge, every guy hiding behind a door with a baseball bat. But when it clicks, when you finally float through an entire floor without getting touched, nothing else feels like that. Oh, and the best ending? You have to beat all the bosses and let them live. Mercy is harder than murder. That's not me being poetic. That's just the game being smarter than it looks. Short, mean, brilliant, bring patience. Number 17. Pentiment. Alright, I already know what you're thinking. A game about a guy drawing pictures in a book in Germany 500 years ago? Hard pass. Sit down. I was wrong too. Pentiment looks like somebody took an ancient hand-painted book and made it move. Everything is drawn like those wobbly little doodles in the corners of old manuscripts. It's gorgeous. And underneath all that, it's a murder mystery. You're Andreas, an artist visiting a small town called Tassing. Someone gets killed. The town wants an answer fast, and guess who's stuck finding it? You. There is no fighting. Not one sword swing. Your only weapon is asking questions. And here's the bit that made me put the controller down and stare at a wall. You collect your clues, you make your best guess, you point at someone, and the game does not pat you on the head and say correct. It just moves on. Years pass. You watch what your guess did to real people, their families, their whole lives. And if the truth ever does catch up with you, you will not feel clever. Tiny detail I adore. The letters on screen actually change depending on who's talking. Fancy educated people get fancy swirly handwriting. Regular folks get plain scratchy letters. Nobody made them do that. They did it anyway. Pentiment is slow. Pentiment is quiet. Pentiment is also one of the best written games on your PlayStation. Number 16. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Fun fact, you're not the prince. You play as Sargon, a warrior sent to go rescue the prince. So the title is lying to you within 4 seconds. Strong start, Ubisoft? Except, this game absolutely rules. You climb a cursed mountain where time has completely broken. Some rooms are frozen mid-explosion. Some have 2 versions of the same place squashed on top of each other. And you get time powers, dash through the air, leave a glowing ghost behind and snap back to it whenever you want. Slow everything to a crawl. Once you've got all of them, moving around stops being travel and starts being showing off. The fighting is fast and sharp, the bosses are outstanding, and the jumping puzzles near the end will genuinely test you. Not unfair, just hard. Can I praise one small thing? When you find a door you can't open yet, you press a button and the game snaps a photo and pins it to your map. So you never wander for an hour going, wait, where was that purple door again? Every game like this should steal that idea. Today. Now the sad part, it didn't sell well. The team got moved on to other things. No sequel. One of the finest games of 2024. Treat it like a rounding error on a spreadsheet. So go play it. Spite is a perfectly good reason to buy a game. Number 15. Stellar Blade. Earth is a wreck. Monsters took over. What's left of humanity ran off to live in space, and now they drop soldiers down to take the planet back. Every squad before you got wiped out. You're Eve. Good luck, Eve. Now, the internet spent about 6 months arguing over this game's main character and her outfits, which was exhausting and I refused to join in. Let's talk about the actual game, because the actual game is world class at one specific thing: parrying. You know that moment in a movie where the hero blocks a strike at the very last split second and everything goes silent? Stellar Blade is built entirely out of that moment. Enemies attack in long patterns, and if you tap block at exactly the right beat, the screen flashes, sparks explode everywhere, and you barely take a scratch, get the timing wrong, and you get flattened. It's basically a rhythm game where the music is a monster trying to eat you. Speaking of music, the soundtrack is ridiculous. It's from the same studio behind the Nier games, and you'll be humming it in the shower for weeks. Sorry in advance, is the story amazing? It's fine. Perfectly okay sci-fi, nobody's crying at the credits. But the sword fighting is top tier. If bouncing sparks off a boss's blade sounds like your idea of a good evening, this is your game. Number 14. Returnal. You're Selene, you're an astronaut. You crash on a horrible alien planet, you explore it, and something with far too many arms kills you. Then you wake up back at your crash site. Same day, same wreck, everything you found gone. That's the entire game. Die, restart, come back a little bit smarter. And I need you to understand how hard this gets. There are glowing purple bullets everywhere, not 5 of them, hundreds. Whole screens full, drifting at you in patterns like an evil fireworks display, and you're expected to whip through the gaps while shooting back. When it goes well, you feel like the coolest human alive. When it goes badly in about 4 seconds. The controller does wonderful stuff too. Squeeze the trigger halfway to aim, squeeze it all the way down for your big special shot. You can feel rain landing on your hands. Genuinely one of the best uses of the PS5 controller, full stop. Now the stupid part. At launch, you couldn't save in the middle of a run. $70 and a 2-hour run just evaporated if someone else needed the TV. Brilliant. They patched it in later. It should never have shipped that way, and underneath all the shooting, there's a quiet sad little story about a woman, a house, and things she'd rather not remember. It's stranger and better than it needed to be. Punishing, fantastic. Number 13. Lies of P. Somebody in a meeting once said, what if Pinocchio? But he stabs people and nobody stopped them. Thank goodness. You're P, a puppet who wakes up on a train in a city called Krat. The city is finished. Every other puppet has gone haywire and started murdering everybody. And there's a disease turning people into stone. Geppetto's around here somewhere. He built you. He's also, let's go with complicated. This is a hard game. Properly hard. You will fight one boss 40 times and start negotiating with your television. But the combat is beautiful. You block at the exact last second to knock a giant weapon aside, and there's a specific metal clangs that I would like played at my funeral. Best part, you can snap weapons in half and glue them to other weapons. Take the blade of a massive sword, stick it on a light quick handle, and build something no designer ever intended. It's a toy box for weirdos. I adore it. And then there's the lying. Every so often someone asks you a question and you can tell the truth or lie. And lying makes you more human. That's the joke. That's the entire thing. Honest puppet stays a puppet forever. The launch difficulty was a bit much and they softened it later, which was the right. Also, stay after the credit. What they tease is completely banana. Number 12. Alan Wake 2. Right, deep breath. This one is strange even by my standards, and it's easily the boldest game on this list. It's also properly scary and made for grown-ups, so fair warning. Alan Wake is a writer. 13 years ago he got pulled into a dark, impossible place, and he's been stuck there since, writing the same story over and over, trying to write himself out. Small problem? Every horrible thing he writes actually happens. Meanwhile, an FBI agent named Saga Anderson arrives in a foggy little town to investigate some boss, and guess whose story she has just walked into? You play both of them, and they each get a lovely bit of nonsense. Saga has a mind place where she closes her eyes and walks into a room inside her own head, where she pins a clues to a cardboard like a real detective. Alan can rewrite the scene he's standing in, change the story, change the room, and then at one point the game stops being a game and becomes a live action rock movie. Real actors singing on your telly, and it works. It's the single best thing I saw in 2023, and I still can't fully explain why. It won a mountain of awards, it also sold slowly, took ages to make its money back, and was digital only for a long time. So of course it's brilliant, of course it is. Number 11. Metaphor, ReFantazio. The king is dead, murdered, and because of a spell he cast before he died, the next ruler isn't chosen by bloodline or by a big fight. It's chosen by a popularity contest. The whole kingdom votes. Whoever the people actually like most gets the crown. So this is a fantasy game about running an election campaign with swords, laughs. It's made by the Persona team, which explains an enormous amount. You're a nobody from a hated tribe with a tiny fairy named Gallica sitting on your shoulder, and you travel the country in a giant walking house on legs, trying to convince an entire kingdom you're worth voting for. Now, here's the clever bit. Your hero secretly reads a fantasy novel about a magical world where nobody's judged for the tribe they were born into, and everyone just gets along. That book gives him hope. That book gives him actual power. And the world in that book, boss, it's ours. Boring all ours. That's the metaphor. That's the title. The battles are turn-based. Hit the weakness, get another go, and they're excellent. But the real enemy is the calendar. There's a deadline, and every single day you choose. Train, see friends, or crawl a dungeon. You will never have enough days. That's deliberate. That's life, kid. 80 hours long. Worth everyone? Number 10. Ghost of Yotei. 16 years ago, 6 people burned Atsu's home down, killed everyone she loved, and left her pinned to a tree to die. She didn't die. Now she's grown, she's got a wolf, and she's got 6 names carved into her sword. This follows Ghost of Tsushima, but it's a brand new story, a new hero, and it's way up north on snowy Hokkaido in the shadow of a mountain called Yotei. You do not need to have played the first one. What I genuinely love here, they buried the map markers. Instead of a big yellow arrow bossing you around, you ask a traveler where something is, they point at a mountain, and off you go. You navigate using the actual world, remember that? Using your eyes, Atsu fights with everything too. Long sword, twin blades, spear, chain and sickle, even a rifle, and different enemies demand different weapons, so you're swapping constantly mid-fight. You can also sit at a campfire and cook, play a shamisen, paint a picture. It's the most relaxing revenge quest ever made. My gripe? It's very similar to the last one. Prettier, sharper, better. But if you played Tsushima to death, you'll spot the recycled bones. There's even a black and white old samurai movie filter, a chilled lo-fi music mode, and one that just makes everything much bloodier. Millions bought it in a month. Deserved. Number 9. Resident Evil 4, the remake. The president's daughter has been kidnapped and stashed in a village in rural Spain. You're Leon. You have a pistol, a knife, and an unbelievable haircut, and you're going in alone. Also heads up, horror game for grown-ups. Chainsaws, so many chainsaws. The original came out in 2005 and it's one of the most important games ever made. Remaking it was like remaking a classic movie. Very easy to ruin. They did not ruin it. Everything's tighter now. You can move while shooting. You can crouch and sneak. And the knife isn't a sad little backup anymore. You can parry with it. A man charges at you with a chainsaw and you block it with a pocket knife. It should not work. It absolutely rules. Ashley, the girl you're rescuing, used to be famous for shrieking, "Leon, help," every 11 seconds. She's a proper character now, genuinely useful. I'm relieved for everybody involved. And then there's the merchant, a mysterious hooded man who somehow sells you rocket launchers inside a monster-infested castle and growls, "What are you buying?" Nobody knows who he is. Nobody has ever asked. Legend. Only real complaint, the island section at the end drags. Everyone says it, everyone's right. Over 9 million copies sold. One of the finest remakes of anything ever. Number 8. Silent Hill 2, the remake. Right, this one's heavy, so I'll be straight with you. It's a horror game for grown-ups and the story is genuinely sad. James gets a letter from his wife Mary. "Come to Silent Hill," she says. "Meet me in our special place." Lovely, except Mary died 3 years ago. So either the post office is having a shocker or something is very wrong. He goes anyway. The town's swallowed by fog. Things move in it, and it doesn't take long to work out that Silent Hill isn't just haunted. It's personal. The monsters aren't random. They're built out of what's going on inside James's head, including a big fella with a rusty metal triangle for a head. who exists purely to punish him. The original's from 2001 and people talk about it like scripture. This remake had every chance to fall on its face. It didn't. The camera's over your shoulder now. The fighting's clumsy on purpose. James is a regular bloke with a plank, not an action hero. And the fog looks incredible. The ending is the whole point. And when you get there, the game very quietly tells you it's been watching how you played. Whether you healed, where you lingered, it knows. 2 million copies in 10 days. The team's already remaking the play it with headphones, then go outside. Number 7. Astro Bot. After all that misery, here's the happiest game on a PlayStation. You're a tiny robot, your spaceship gets wrecked by an alien with a big green head, your 300 little robot mates get scattered across the galaxy and you go and fetch them. That's it, that's the plot. It's perfect and it is the best feeling game I have played in years. Every jump, every hover, every punch has this satisfying little thong to it. You'll play a level, immediately replay it and not be able to explain why. The controller does absurd things. You'll feel sand shifting under Astro's feet, rain on his head, squeeze the triggers to blow up a frog like a balloon. If any game justifies that controller existing, it's this one. But here's the bit that gets people. Those 300 bots you are rescuing, they're dressed as PlayStation characters. 30 years of them. Kratos, Aloy, Nathan Drake, ancient ones from the 90s nobody's thought about since. And there are whole levels built out of famous games. Your dad is going to make a noise you have never heard him make before. It won Game of the Year. Beat games 4 times its size and 20 times its budget. Also, the last few bonus levels are brutally hard. You've been warned. $40. Play it with someone you like. Number 6. Marvel Spider-Man 2. True Spider-Man, Peter Parker and Miles Morales, both playable. Swap between them almost whenever you fancy. And the map is twice the size now. Queens and Brooklyn opened up so you can finally swing all the way across the river. And swinging is why you're here. It's still the best traversal in any game, but now you've got web wings, so you can catch a gust of wind and glide through the whole city without touching a building. Getting somewhere stops being travel. It's just the fun part. The villain is Venom, and behind him is Kraven the Hunter, who's dragged an army into New York to hunt every enhanced person in it. Peter finds the black suit. The black suit makes him strong. It also makes him angry, cruel, and a genuinely bad friend. Watching Spider-Man become someone you don't like is uncomfortable, which is the point. 11 million copies sold. Huge, expensive, gorgeous. Now, my honest gripe. It's shorter than the first one. The ending arrives in a hurry, and if you've played the 2018 game, you can predict the shape of it. It's more Spider-Man rather than new Spider-Man. But when you're 100 meters up, sunset on the glass, no loading screens, Miles' music kicking in, I stop caring every single time. Number 5. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Okay, some background. Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997 and is one of the most beloved games ever made. They're remaking it in 3 parts. This is part 2 and I'm going to be careful here because part 2 is famous for one particular moment and I refuse to spoil it. Cloud and his friends leave the city behind and suddenly the world just opens. Grasslands, deserts, oceans, jungles. You get a buggy. You get a chocobo, big yellow bird, brilliant, don't argue, and you chase a man in a long black coat called Sephiroth, who has one of the great villain entrances in fiction. The fighting is clever, real time, but you press a button and time nearly stops so you can pick your move. Action and turn-based holding hand, and 2 characters can join up for combo attacks that look absolutely ridiculous. But the real thing here is the friendship. You go on dates, you play card games, you do a whole musical number in a theater. By the end, you know these 7 people properly, and that matters enormously because of what happens near the end. My complaint? It's stuffed with side activities. Some are wonderful, some are homework. And that ending divided everybody. I still think about it. Part 3 lands in 2027. Number 4. God of War Ragnarok. Kratos used to be a screaming ball of rage who killed the entire Greek pantheon. Then he moved to Norway, had a son, and this is the good bit, got quieter. This picks up where the last one left off. Fimbulwinter has arrived, which means Ragnarok is coming. The end of everything. Odin wants Kratos and Atreus on his side. Thor wants them dead because Kratos killed his boys, and Atreus is a teenager now, which means he's sneaking off and making terrible decisions exactly like every teenager. The fighting is superb, the axe you throw and call back still hasn't got old, and hearing it thud into your hand never will. The 9 realms are properly beautiful. The Norse mythology is real mythology, twisted just enough, but it's a story about a dad who has done monstrous things, who is terrified his son will grow up to be him, and who genuinely doesn't know how to say any of that out loud. And Thor here isn't a Marvel wisecracker, he's a sad, drunk, broken man who does awful things because his father told him to. 15 million copies, deserved. My one moan, it's a lot of talking and Mimir will not shut up. That ending though, that's how you finish a story. Number 3. Clair Obscur. Expedition 33. Every year, a woman called the Paintress wakes up, paints a number on a giant monolith, and every single person that age turns to dust. Last year it was 34. This year it's 33. So if you're 33, you've got hours. And every year, the people who are about to die anyway sail off to try and kill her. They're called expeditions. None have ever come back. Your Expedition 33, that's the setup. It's the best premise I've heard in years. And the game earns it. The fighting is turn-based, pick your move, watch it happen, except when the enemy attacks, you don't just sit there. You dodge, you parry, actual timing, actual reflexes on their turn. It's turn-based combat that demands you stay awake, and I've never played anything quite like it. The music is staggering, the world looks like a painting that's slowly falling apart, and the story goes somewhere in the second half that I genuinely did not see coming. It stops being a fantasy adventure and turns into something about grief that left me sitting in silence. Here's the mad part. 30 odd people made this. Their first game, they beat studios with 1,000 staff and went on to win Game of the Year. Sometimes the little guys win. Good. Number 2. Baldur's Gate 3. A tentacled monster has stuck a parasite in your brain. It's going to turn you into one of them. You've got days. Go fix it. Now, this is a big adults only fantasy game, so you know, ask a grown up. But the reason it's here is simple. Baldur's Gate 3 lets you do anything. It's built on Dungeons and Dragons rules, which means dice. Every conversation, every lie, every leap, the game rolls a 20-sided die on screen and you watch your fate tumble. Roll high, you charm the guard. Roll 1, you fall in a hole in front of everybody. But the real magic is that the game just says yes. Don't want to fight the boss, shove him off a cliff, can't pick the lock, smash the door, stuck in a conversation, turn into a bear, someone important died in Act 1 and ruined the plot. Fine, the story bends around it. It never scolds you. And your companions are properly written. They argue with you, they leave if you're horrible. People have very strong feelings about a vampire named Asterion, and I've stopped asking questions. It won everything in 2023, and every publisher spent the next year insisting nobody could possibly do that again. Yes, they can, they just don't want to pay for it. And number 1, Elden Ring. I've thought about this a lot, and it still wins. You wake up in a broken kingdom called the Lands Between. A golden ring shattered. The demigods who took the pieces went mad. Your job is to get them back. That's roughly all the instruction you receive. There's no quest arrow, no voice telling you where to go. There's a horse, a sword, an enormous open world, and a golden shimmer in the distance. And the deal is this. Anything you can see, you can reach. That castle on the hill, ride to it. That cave, go in. That thing in the sky, yeah, that too. Nothing is safe. You'll wander into a field and something 8 stories tall will remove you from existence. And the game will not apologize, but nothing is off limits either. Stuck on a boss, go somewhere else, get stronger, come back angry, and it is huge. There's an entire second world underneath the first one with its own sky that some players never even find. The story is written with George R.R. Martin and it's told in whispers, item descriptions, ruins, statues. You piece it together yourself like archaeology. 30+ million copies. It changed what open worlds are allowed to be. Hard, unfair, unforgettable. Number 1, not close. So that's 18. And look, I've been doing this long enough to be tired of everything. But not one of this asked me for a season pass, a battle pass, or my email address. They just told a story and let me live. That's rarer than it should be. Now tell me what I got wrong. Somebody's furious I ranked Elden Ring first. Somebody's furious I ranked it at all. Comments are down there, go on.